Welcome, my name is Tracy Forstange. I'm the academic advisor for students that have been admitted into our nursing programs. The following video is going to guide you through the application process for our pre-licensure program's competitive admission. First, to be sure students are eligible to apply to the program, I'm going to cover the admission criteria. Students are required to complete 9 prerequisite courses. We require Chemistry for Health Professionals 1 and 2, which is a combination of Gen Chem 1 and Gen Chem 2, some organic and some biochem put into 2 classes. Human anatomy, human physiology, college level writing, either modern social problems or principles of sociology course, a lifespan development course, which covers the lifespan from birth until death, general psychology, and then medical terminology. For these courses, we require that students earn a 3.0 overall GPA in the prerequisites and in your overall grade point average of all the courses you've taken at college level. You need to have a B or better or 3.0 average or better in the 4 science courses when we average those together. And then your individual course grades need to be a C or better in the courses listed. So when students are ready to apply, you can apply in the semester that you're finishing your prerequisites. So when you're registered for your final required courses, you submit your application that semester to start in the upcoming semester. We admit students twice a year. We have a fall start and a spring start. The fall semester applications are due by March 15th, and then the spring semester applications are due on October 15th. We admit 45 students every fall and spring semester. Just to give you an idea of the level of competitiveness, typically we receive about 100 qualified applicants for those 45 spots, but that can vary from semester to semester. All the information that I'm covering can be found on our website. And again, this is the pre-licensure program. We also have an RN to BSN program, and that is for students that have already earned their RN license and are looking to pursue finishing their bachelor's degree. So this process is going to cover the pre-licensure program competitive admission process. So the grades that you earn in those prerequisite courses are very important and are still a factor in our admission process, but we've also incorporated a holistic review piece where we have determined that students having attributes in intellectual curiosity, leadership, resilience, and integrity also are important in producing good nursing students and good nurses. So we're looking for those throughout that process. And we do that through a personal statement and some essay questions. So first, to apply to the program, all students need to have applied to Western and be accepted into Western. And you do that through our Office of Admissions. And that information is available on our website as well. And then to apply to the pre-licensure program, we're going to need you to create an account with Nursing CAS. And this is a way for us to collect your grade information along with the holistic review piece in one place, and then to be able to make decisions from that. So when you set up an account in Nursing CAS, it's going to ask you what term you're seeking admission, and then it will direct you to the appropriate application cycle. There is a cost to apply to Nursing CAS. There's a $60 fee. So if that causes you to have a financial hardship, you can reach out to Nursing CAS to see if you qualify for a fee waiver, and if they have any fee waivers available, that would all come from them. As well as any technical questions. If you have technical questions about using their system, I would direct you back to Nursing CAS as well. I always recommend that students review their quick start guide and their frequently asked questions section on their website. I find those to be very helpful, and I hope that you do too. They break their application up into 4 sections. So we're going to be collecting some personal information, academic history. I'll talk about support information, and then the program materials as well. So this grid shows, or this dashboard shows, the 4 sections that we're going to be collecting information from. So your personal information is just that. It's going to be your name, address, where you went to school, just data collection information. We don't use any of that information in our application decision process, but it is information that either they or we are required to collect. Your academic history is one of the main components that we're using this for. We need to have you give us your information for those prerequisite courses in Nursing CAS. So they're going to have you enter your transcripts. Nursing CAS asks you to enter all your coursework that you've ever taken, but if you're only applying to Western, we only need you to enter your 9 prerequisite course information. That's all that we're looking for. Nursing CAS is a system that you can use to apply to multiple institutions if you want to. So the information that I'm giving you is if you're applying only to Western. If you are going to apply to some other schools as well, then you'll want to follow Nursing CAS's recommendations. But again, the things that I'm telling you are all we need for you to apply to our program. Nursing CAS will give you the option to have a specialist enter your grades. You can enter these on your own and do not need to pay someone extra to do that. That's really intended for someone that has multiple degrees and they're applying for graduate level school and they have to enter everything that they've ever taken. You only need to enter 9 courses and it's simple and easy to do, so you don't need to pay a specialist to do that. One thing with your grade entry is that in Nursing CAS at Western, if you earn a BA or a CB, that's how we award the grade. Nursing CAS is going to flip those. So a BA is actually listed as an AB and a CB is actually listed as a BC. You just have to flip the letters. It'll keep kicking back your grade entry. So hopefully that will be a trigger and hopefully people watch this video to know to do that. Your academic history is going to ask all the different institutions that you've attended. We're looking for your colleges attended. So we don't need all of the extra high school information. You will do that on your Western application. We need your college information. Your transcript entry, like I said, is just going to be for the 9 prerequisite courses. Standardized testing, you would only list that if you took an AP or an IB course that you're using for one of the requirements for a prerequisite course. So if you took AP English in high school or AP Psych, then you would enter that in standardized testing, but otherwise you don't need to put any additional information in there. We don't need your ACT scores or SAT scores or anything else. Again, that would be something that you would include on your Western application, but do not need to put in Nursing CAS. Nursing CAS is going to request that you upload an official copy of your transcripts to verify the information that you've entered. I only need an unofficial copy, so we do not require that you pay to get an extra official transcript. You already have sent those to Western if you've taken courses elsewhere. And Western will allow you to print an unofficial copy of your transcripts if you're only taking classes here. So please, you don't need to do official, just unofficial or something that lists all the courses that you've taken with your final grades. Now, if you are transferring courses from another institution to Western, you're going to want to make sure that you are taking the appropriate courses to meet our prerequisites, and you can verify that on our transfer credit website that's found through the Office of Admissions. And you can also meet with our pre-nursing advisor by calling our office and scheduling an appointment with her to make sure that you're taking the correct classes to be ready to apply. When we get to the end of the semester and final grades are due, if you're taking classes somewhere other than Western, we're going to need you to pay attention to the date that final grades are due and have you send your final grades, have your instructor, send your final grades to me at the end of the semester. We don't require that students wait a semester for us to do all this processing. We allow you to apply in the semester you're finishing, but then that means that your transcripts and final grades won't be sent to us until weeks after you finish the semester. and we make a decision within days after the semester ends. So only if you're taking classes somewhere other than Western, you'll need to ask your professor to email me your final grade, and then we will verify that with backup documentation from your transcripts once they come in. There'll be time before the semester starts to verify those, but not before we make decisions. So if you have questions on that, reach out to the pre-nursing advisor as well. But again, AP and IB classes are entered under your standardized testing, but we don't need any other standardized testing information entered in nursing CAS. This is just a view of what that transcript entry is going to look like. So I had listed that I started at Western back in September of 22. My first semester here, I took college level writing, sociology, chem for health professionals 1, and anatomy. And I had my final grades. And then the semester, the semester I was doing it was the spring of 23. So I listed the courses that I was registered for, but the semester wasn't over yet. So I didn't have final grades. And once you submit this, you don't have to go back and get those final grades. We'll get those either from your professor emailing them to me, or once Western posts those grades, I have access to those. So, but I want to know what's in process so I can make sure that I'm using the appropriate course for your application. That's especially important if somebody's repeating a course. If you're repeating a course, you can repeat a prerequisite course one time, and then we use the grade of the second attempt. So keep that in mind. You can only repeat each prerequisite one time, and we'll use that second grade. In nursing CAS, the section for support information is not necessary. We're not using that at this time. So letters of recommendation, any certificates or anything, we can't use that in your scoring. So there's no need to put any information in that section. The program materials section is the section that's going to house your essays and your personal statement. So it's very important to make sure that you complete that. Typically, we have 3 to 4 essay questions. Those are given a 750 character count limit, and that is going to include punctuation and spaces. So you want to make sure that you're aware of that. Your personal statement is going to be a document that you upload, and that can be up to 2,000 characters, which again includes spaces and punctuation. But there is a prompt for the personal statement. So it isn't just a personal statement that you develop, there's a prompt that you're going to answer. So make sure that you're looking at that. I always want to make sure that students are answering the question that we ask. You want to make sure that you're being concise and staying within those character counts. It's important that you're close to the character counts because that is a part of the rubric in your scoring. We need to be able to compare apples to apples, to compare one student's essay with another, and to make sure that those character counts are held and that students are following instructions as a part of it too. So make sure that you're staying within those limits for character counts. References are not required, nor can we use those. Oh, and I apologize. I think I said that was something under support information. It's under program materials, but you do not need to include any references. We can't use those. And then the final thing that you do in that section is you link your prerequisite courses against your academic history. So first, let me show you, this comes up just to show you a question. Once you create your account in nursing CAS, you'll be able to go in and review the essays and the personal statement, and then you can log out and go back in. So you can work on these over time, and we recommend that you do that. We recommend that you take some time to read the questions, absorb what we're looking for, process it, get it reviewed, and then submit it. So it's meant to be a work in process for a little bit to make sure that you're really being thoughtful and thorough in your answers, and then also concise. This is where you would upload your personal statement. So that's something you can create in a different format and then just upload the document instead of having to type in your answer. And then I'm sorry, this is the section where you're linking your prerequisite courses to your academic history. So this is really, it's self-explanatory. If you took the classes at Western, you're going to put in Chem 1510 for Chem 1510. If you took a chemistry at a different institution, then the class that you took is the equivalent to Chem 1510 is what you would put in here. So that's really what it's helping us do, is to match up what course you're intending to use as your prerequisite course for your scoring. Be sure that your application is completed in full prior to submitting. Once you hit that final submission, you're not able to retrieve that from Nursing CAS. So make sure that you've answered the questions the way you want to answer them, that your application is completed in full, and then submit it by the deadline, and then let it go and finish working hard and doing well the semester, and then waiting for our decision, waiting patiently for our decision. To strengthen your application, make sure you're answering the question asked by providing enough detail to answer the question. Use spell and grammar check. That's a part of the rubric. We do recommend, if you want to have somebody read over your essay and give you feedback, that's a great thing to do too, but make sure that you are keeping this your own work. It's important that you're the one answering the questions with your feedback and knowledge for us to be able to assess. So worth repeating, a specialist doesn't need to enter your grades. You can enter those as the student. Please don't pay somebody extra to do that. It's really not necessary for this type of an application. Nursing CAS is going to ask you to enter all of your previous coursework in the transcript entry. We only need you to enter the information for your 9 prerequisite courses. They request that you supply official transcripts. We only need unofficial transcripts, so you don't need to pay extra for that. The Bronson School of Nursing has identified the following attributes as really being important to nursing: intellectual curiosity, integrity, resilience, and leadership. So we are looking for those attributes in our essay questions and in your personal statement. And then we're also going to look at your grade trends in those prerequisite courses and your overall grades. You know, did you have a rough start and then progress and do well? Or, you know, what are the trends in your learning abilities? We admit 45 students every fall and spring semester. We don't have a wait list, and the process is competitive each semester. So if you apply and are not accepted, you do have the ability to reapply in the next semester. Grades are 40% of our decision, and then the remaining 60% is going to come from the scoring of your essay questions. So both are very important and will be averaged together, but with 40% weight on your grades and 60% on those essays. We typically make decisions a few days after final grades are due. So we are gathering the information needed at the end of the semester as fast as we can. And then you will receive an email from the email that you list in Nursing CAS. So whatever communication you're listed in there is where the communications are going to go to. The decisions will go through Nursing CAS by email to the students. Keep in mind that you register for the upcoming semester before a decision can even be made on who gets into the program. So you want to make sure that you have a strong backup plan, that's going to work for you. If your plan A doesn't fall through, then we need to have a good plan B. So make sure that you've got a strong backup plan. If you're admitted into the program, then we give you instructions on how to register for your nursing courses. Keep in mind that microbiology, which is BIOS 2320, it's typically taken by students in the first semester in the nursing program unless you've had the opportunity to take it ahead of time. So when you're registering for the semester that you're applying to get into the program, and you want to make sure you pick a lab for microbiology that doesn't conflict with your nursing courses. There are a couple of them out there that are going to conflict. So the courses that you would be registering for when you get admitted into the program is nursing 2200, 2210, and 2220. And you can find the scheduling information for those courses at wmich.edu/class lookup. So again, make sure you're picking a lab that doesn't conflict, because if you find out, if you pick a lab that conflicts and then you get into the program and we need to flip your lab schedule, typically those are going to be full, and it's a co-requisite to take that course with your nursing courses, or you're not able to start the program. We can't answer any questions about where you ranked in the selection process, so you will be told either you are accepted or we're declining you at this time. And again, having a backup plan prior to decision being made is super important, especially when we're going from fall semester to spring semester. typically we're making decisions like the last day or two that we're here before winter recess. And then we only come back sometimes a few days before all the students come back to start the spring semester. So there's not enough time to be making those changes. And then a lot of classes are full at that time. So really make sure you've got a good backup plan in place when you're scheduling for that upcoming semester, with hopes that we switch it over to nursing courses. So if you have any further questions after watching this video, please feel free to reach out to your pre-nursing advisor. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I hope that you found it helpful. And then I wish you the best in achieving your academic goals of becoming a nurse. So take care and best wishes.